Hello guys, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back to the channel. And here I have a long overdue review. This is a book, obviously, called Modelling School. And it was sent to me by Jamie Haggo, who's the author of the book, along with Mickey Meneth from Ammo. I'm not sure if me had anything to do with it. He put some pictures in and stuff, I think. But basically, this is a great book to get because you will find a lot of books that are put out by certain companies, mentioning no names. They will do some fantastic recommendations on how to do this, that and the other using their products. This book doesn't just concentrate on one person's product, it concentrates on loads of stuff. I've had a flick through, I haven't looked at it thoroughly, but I've only just taken it out of his bag and I've had it here for months. I'm sorry, Jamie, if you're watching, but we got there in the end. So basically, it's a book all about aircraft weathering. So if you're not into aircraft, if you're into ammo, whatever, you may not be interested. You may be interested in the review, but you may not be interested in buying the book. But basically, it goes through all the different aspects of weathering. There's some fantastic real-life pictures in here. There's some fantastic modelling on display. And at the end, we have a huge project with this Bronco you can see on the front, which is fitted with Pratt & Whitney engines and a gun and everything. It's a real proper sort of what if Bronco. Really good. So looking forward to reading about that. So basically, as I say, the book is called Modelling School, an initiation to the aircraft weathering, masterclass by Jamie Haggo. I'm sure we've got an ISBN number or something on the back. Do we? Is there an ISBN number on here? There's a barcode, and I'm guessing you can get it from here. And there you go. There's the barcode on it. But it's basically called Modelling School. So, and it's a level 3. There you go. So, I can't see any ISBN number. So, going in, there is ISBN. Here you go. Right, let's hold this up to the camera so you can see it. ISBN. There you go. Okay, so you can freeze frame and have a look around for that. So it's a softback book, it's not a hardback, but it is, as you can see, very thick, and it weighs a ton. It has, where's the last page number? 230, no, 240 pages, something like that. So it's a big old book. I'm not sure how much it is because I didn't pay for it, because Jamie sent me this out of the goodness of his heart. Thank you, Jamie. So first page is really interesting. Second page, all about who's written it, who's been in touch, who's in charge of the models and this, that, and the other. It was done in 2017, and it was published in Spain and printed in Spain. This is English, and I'm guessing that little Union Jack thing down there is what's telling us it's English. So there we are. So here's an intro from Jamie, all about, he's talking about what he's doing with the book and why he's done the book. He's talking about a bit of history, what he did and how he got into modelling. Tools and products. So we've got a lovely picture there of it looks like a Merlin in what I can only think is possibly a Spitfire, looking at the shape of that. So that's possibly a Spitfire, not quite sure. But anyway, so you can see lots and lots of detail photos there and a great little image for you to do weathering with. So there was a talk about tools and products. A bad workman always blames his tools. Whilst there is an element of truth in that rather tongue-in-cheek statement, it can be said that good quality tools and innovative gadgets and gizmos can help the modeller, although it stands to reason the best tool is really practice. How true. There's another great image there of an engine on the front there. So he's talking about paint. So starting off with paint. So he's recommending different paints here. He's talking about primer, and we've got Alclad, UMP, which is actually Stynylrez, MIG Ammo, and then Mr. Surfacer. Yes, you know what I think of Mr. Surfacer. So this is all about paint, and then we've got MRP or Mr. Paint. Is that MRP? I'm not sure if that's MRP or is it a different paint. You tell me. But these are MRP. I got a feeling that's MRP. I got a feeling that's a different company. No, it could be the same because it's got it's MRP numbers on them. So I'm guessing they are MRP paints, which you can get at Premium Hobbies. Here we have Mr. Hobby and Tamiya. Tamiya lacquer paints. He's referring to Tamiya as don't be confused with LPs. These are the ordinary XFs. Tamiya refer themselves as acrylic paints. They're not. They're lacquers. It's best thing with IPA, Mr. Hobby thinner, or own brand X20A. It sprays beautifully. Can be matte, satin, or gloss. But although they do have quite a number of specific colours, the range isn't extensive. So it's not a fantastic range of paints, although it is getting much better over the years. I think Mr. Hobby is a far superior paint. But you've got Mr. Colour there, and you've got Mr. Aqueous. You can see there the blue label, which has now been superseded, I think, is the Aqueous. So then you've got the Mr. Colour. So if it's got an H in front, it's Aqueous. If it's got a C in the front, it's Mr. Colour. Acan, I've got some of these, never tried them. Ammo MIG, Viejo. And then we've got the Alclad lacquers, which I think are wonderful. We've got the Viejo acrylics, Ammo of MIG acrylics, Mr. Hobby metal colours, which are absolutely brilliant. And then we've got Alclad Hogwash, which I've never even heard of. Ammo of MIG panel line wash, which I've never even heard of. I think I've got some of those in the box they sent me. And then Ammo of MIG wash, which is really good. So, lovely picture there of a MIG. And then we've got pigments. You're going to see a lot of this in the K2 build, which is coming your way. And I've used some of these as well, so you'll see them. Oil paints, love them. And then chipping fluids, hairspray, which we all know about. You can buy chipping fluids, or you can just get yourself some Tresemme number 3. Lovely picture there. You can see there's a fantastic sort of rocket launcher there. I'm guessing that's a Russian aircraft. Beautiful. Talking about glues, all the different glues you can get. So you've got your cements and your glues and your rockets. And the thing is, things are moving so fast these days. Since this book came out, things have changed around a little bit. Well, they haven't changed around, but there's been additions. So bear that in mind. That stuff there is that zip kicker. Be very careful. I used that once on a bit of clear, and it just made it go white straight away. Even though it says does not cloud clear parts. Brushes, massive subject. Something I really struggle with is getting brushes. Tools here, so we got punch and die, saws, and all sorts of bits and pieces, scribers, scissors, tweezers, drills. Those drills there, which I don't recommend. I'd rather have the master box ones. And you got sanders. He's got the Flory sanders there, which I don't think you can get anymore. It looks like he's got a UMP one there. You know that I prefer, my favourite sanders are the Infini ones. And then, right, so we're talking about airframe preparation. So he's saying here he doesn't like the building. I love the building. Maybe I should build them and send them to you, Jamie. So you just give me some tips there about how to go about it and study the instructions and everything. So talk about how to build the model up using different types of clamping and everything. Plastic shims to get the model to fit and line up. You've seen me do that on the Spitfire, haven't you? Here we got on the wings, plastic shims, which is exactly what I've done on the Spitfire before I've even looked at this book. You'll see that in part 7. And then leaving liquid glue in the seam held a hair's breadth apart, the plastic will melt. Then using some pressure, this is what you see me do, holding the parts apart, let the glue in, and then squeeze them. That is a great system. You can get that to ooze out and then you can sand it back. The only trouble is, come back 2 weeks later, you may well find you've got a sink line there. So if you've got a central seam like you have in a 109, then it's absolutely fine. But something that doesn't have a seam there, it's a bit of a pain. So some people actually glue their fuselage halves together with super glue. And then he's talking about the different breakdown of components. Here you can see on this Kittyhawk, they've got that part of the fuselage is in a different section. So he's talking about fitting it and fettling it, making it fit. Here you go, he's talking about that and how to do. There's a P61 there. It's a flat seam on the top. He's talking about that's a bit of a problem. And then he's talking about seams on the P40. So filling seams, stacking them out with plastic card if you've got a big step. I think you've seen me do all of this. And then riveting, and then fitting bulges and stuff onto the body. Mr. Surfacer with the cotton bud, you've seen me do that a million times. Opening panels, and then we've got some pylons for some reason there. And then we've got engine intakes. Brass parts make a massive difference here. They use the intakes of a MiG-29. These are lightly sanded first, which cleans them as well as acting as a key for the paint. So that's what he's talking about there. And then we've got a phantom down here. And then he's talking about scribing, all the different ways of rescribing the different tools, brushing the dust out, and then going over, which you've seen me do with extra thin to clean them up. Talking about giving it a helping hand with some rescribing of panel lines. And then riveting. I like to rivet on my models, although on the real thing the rivets may be too visible. On a model they can elevate models to new heights. I think what he's doing here is filling the recessed rivets and then replacing them with raised. Is that what he's doing here? Yeah, very overscale. This was filled using Tamiya filler. So he's used Tamiya filler to fill in the rivets because they're huge and clunky. When thoroughly dry, leave 72 hours to reduce the risk of shrinkage. Domino tape is used with the RB Productions rivet wheel. And then he's actually re-riveting the model with finer rivet lines. That's what he's doing there. So this is all recessed rivets. He's not doing any raised rivets here at the moment. You can see for those that tell you that rivets are not visible, there you are. They are. Those panel fasteners are anyway. And here he's got raised rivets here. Note again he's using a riveting wheel. There we go. These that's what I thought that was. These rivets are used applied with a punch tool for model design. I've got one of those here. If I can put my hand on it, I will show you now. They're a wonderful little tool. Can I get my hand on it? I don't think I can find it. Let me see. Yes, there's one here. And it's basically, as you can see, it's a hand tool with a jeweler's stone picking up thing on the end of it. And when you press that into the model, instead of just giving you a round indent, it gives you like a circle, so it looks like a rivet. It's very, very good, but very, very time consuming. So moving on, priming. He's talking about using different primers here. And then we're on to cockpits. So cockpit detailing, adding photo etch, adding brass wire and stuff like that, using resin cockpits, instrument panels. You've got photo etch here, you've got decals. Of course these days, since this book's come out, you've got sort of all your 3D instrument panels and everything like from Red Fox. So lots and lots of stuff. You've got the seat here. You can see he's drawn out the seat to make it more realistic. And he's doing a paint job on that seat there. Japanese aircraft tended to have 3-point harnesses. And then he's got a real seat there, which is really cool. And then talking about base coats in your fuselage, this is what you've seen me do in the Spitfire and stuff. Going on here, he's using the MiG ammo paint to paint the cockpit. You must be careful of the Russian aircraft. They just be very careful of the photographs, because Russian aircraft either use that lovely sort of gorgeous green colour, or they have like a blue-grey. And if you just look on Google Images at the cockpits, the difference in the photographs is astounding because of the different settings on the camera or whatever. So you need to be careful, make sure you get the right colours. And then he's talking about chipping. So he's probably chipping with hairspray. And then we've got more chipping going on here. Washes. This is still in your cockpit. It's a great picture there of a scrap cockpit. Of course, you've seen me do all this on the channel. And then we're into pigments for the inside of this cockpit. Another great picture there of a F-105 by the look of it. And then buttoning it up, getting the cockpit together. Got the picture there inside a helicopter. You can see the floor and everything. It's all derelict by the look of it. And then 5 distressed paint camouflages and base coats. There's a hind there. Beautiful picture there for reference material. So getting ready. So there's all the primers and stuff on here. I'm thinking. You have to get the book and have a read of it yourself. Natural metals. Again, natural metals. Classic 50s jet fighters. Modern jets. This is getting the steel on the back of a Phantom. There's a F-15. Yeah, it is an F-15. And then Japanese green, so you know, well chipped and worn because the paint didn't have a primer and it all just fell off. Black Knight fighter plane, that's a art in itself, getting that black colour accurate. Japanese aggressor, beautiful, that's going to be gorgeous, I just know it. Look at that, really, really nice. That's the way to go, that's how to use a lot of masking tape. And then getting ready for winter, so this is going to be winter chipping, I'm guessing. Vietnam Warrior, field applied camo, classic colonial, so there's your Spitfire. Abandoned helicopter. Abandoned helicopter 2. That's a Wessex, this is a Russian helicopter. And then we've got that F-15 again in Japanese colours. Grotty Greek Viper. Some of the Greek stuff does get well grotty. It looks bloody great. Neglected Thunderstreak. So that's really well worn. And then we're talking about faded markings. So here we've got some old US markings there, stars and bars, and how to do the faded markings, how to fade them and everything. You can see there's a factory restored Japanese aircraft there. He's showing you here how to get this lovely blue pattern with the big star, the big arrow and everything on the back. Luftwaffe fighter markings, so this is making them up with masking tape rather than using decals, I'm guessing. And then again, you're making up your roundels using masking tape. Of course, these days we just go by mask, don't we? Codes and stencils. Funny, I showed you, I did a review last night of some lovely stencil decals, didn't I? Here we go, we're at codes and stencils. Shark's mouth. Didn't really doing that himself with masking tape, or if it's a stencil. But, here we go. Decals. Oh, don't we love decals? Metal chipping and distress coats. You can see Japanese again here. Well chipped. Base coats extreme paint chipping. Derelict natural metal. So it's going to be all sort of tarnished and corroded, I'm guessing. Detail chips. This is good to know, down in wing roots and stuff like this. And then you can see sanding the paint there with a flory stick. One of these, sanding sponge. Detail chips, still chipping. This is all very good stuff. This is all very important, good to learn. And then we've got chipped primer, which is on a Russian aircraft, obviously, because they often get quite tatty. I saw this earlier when I flicked through. Scotch-Brite, so he's just painted the propeller silver and then painted it black. And instead of doing proper chipping with hairspray and stuff, he's just scratching it. So it looks kind of worn. I'll have to try that, it looks really good. And then we've got arrestor hooks, detail painting the arrestor hooks. Rusty undercarriage. Yeah, undercarriage is still. I was amazed when I saw the Mosquito at the show this year. And I saw the undercarriage leg was starting to go rusty. I couldn't believe it. You can see here he's using the washes and everything. And he's probably going to get some pigments and paints and make it all look nice and rusty, just like that. That's obviously if it's derelict. It wouldn't be like that in service. Rotor fold hold. So this is obviously the scale warship photo etch rotor hold is a beautiful accessory that's fitted to put together. So it's a photo etch part. He's painting that and everything and then giving it some chipping. Cockpit seals, all important. A lot of people miss those out. Get the cockpit seals right. They're very important if your canopy's going to be open. And then derelict nose, all sun bleached and worn out and everything. BF 109 of this one here. Winter chipping whitewash. So we've got some whitewash going on there on a 109. Whitewash going on to a 132nd scale Heinkel 111. Junkers 88, one of my favourite aircraft of World War II. That's all whitewashed. Looking beautiful. No doubt that's the Revell 132nd scale one, it looks like. You can see still on the 88, still on the 88, using chipping effects. Dirty top coats, you get the plane grimy and dirty, look at that. How to achieve it with your filters and washes. Just the page there. And more washes. He's using the sander to sand the wash away, but look at the polishers. And then cotton buds can also be used to remove excess washes. You see me do all the time, look at that. Brilliant. Streaking effects, you're going to see that done kind of in the K2 build. Not to that effect, I just wanted a subtle effect. And then oil dots, you've seen me do this, guys. The streaking. And then oil dots and shading, again, putting dots down and just brushing them back. Using all the different brushes, all the different effects. And then flicking. I've never shown that online. In fact, I don't think I've ever tried it. Basically, just flick the paint off a brush onto your model. Some other people as well hold the brush and use an airbrush to spray it on, to flick the paint on and cause a spattering effect. Still flicking. And then post shading, which I love doing. That's a lovely looking phantom there. Wow, beautiful. And then we've got battle damage. There's a lovely picture of battle damage there. Look at that. So here is showing you thinning out the plastic wall. You have to thin it right out so you can almost see through it. You can see there what he's done is thin it out, and then you look from behind with the light behind it, and you can almost see light through the plastic. And then you make your holes and you put your structure in behind it so that it looks like it's real. Same here on this wing, on the Wellington. And there's some more there on that wing. You can see here the damaged parts. And he's adding the geodetic, I can't remember the name of it now. Geodetic, yeah, geodetic structure in there. You can see, so adding the damage. You can see there, it's absolutely gorgeous. With the damage in the fin and everything as well. Hurricane, hurricane, 30 seconds ago, hurricane's coming, I want it. Final weathering, dirt, oil, muck, smoke and grime. God, look at that. So adding grime to the to his Wessex, making that look well worn and knackered. Greek F-16, beautiful, they look great. Talk about grime, there's a spine of a phantom there having some weathering done to it. And we've got a 109 having some streaking in the bottom. Oil staining and streaking. And here he's showing you what materials he's using for doing the dirt and grime damage. As you can see, this is what I like about this. You know, as I said, I had to flick through it, and it's not just pushing one product down your nose. It's, you know, it's all different ways of doing it with different things from different manufacturers. So very, very nice. Obviously, it's an Ammo Mig production. There was going to be a, you know, a preference to use Ammo Mig products because I know for a fact that Jamie loves them. But you know, it's not all Ammo Mig. So your exhausts, always good to get some tips on how to do exhausts. I need to up my game. Mud, dust and moss. Moss is a good one. There we go, spattering again to splash some mud up on the wheels. This is going to be handy for me looking at this, doing that Spitfire, I think. And then we got the radiators there, getting some oils put on, and then, or is it pigments? No, it's a spattering effect before the pigment is applied, and then it's all been thinned out. It's got some more pigments there going on that MiG. You see the side of that Wessex looking lovely. Kittyhawk OV10A Bronco Death Punch. Here we go. So he's basically saying here the Bronco was left in the in a junkyard, and they wanted to re-get it, or left in a museum, and they wanted to get it back flying. Didn't this? It's a totally what if. It's like a zombie thing. So they found a couple of engines, put them on, and added some other armament to it. So there's only one page. So here we are, starting with the Kittyhawk cockpit, adding some structure into it, cutting off some bits and pieces, adding some tank. This is proper what if, using loads of bits and pieces from other kits. So he's got all the cockpit built up there, got some tubing in there to support the gun on the top. He's given it a paint. Painted all the interior in this interior green, then he'll start doing the detail painting. And there you can see all the detail paintings, putting a Russian seat in it, look. And then he's doing the rear there, but it's a car seat going in the back. And he's got like an instrument panel there, and we've got the car seat in the back, and we've got the pilot's Russian seat there. And then finishing off the cockpit, getting the cockpit into the front section of the fuselage. Do some more detail painting around the cockpit. And then he's painting some parts on the sprue. God, people hate that. Doing the gun pods. And here we go, you can see there's the finished model there. So Just love it. It's got tanks, oil tanks on there for fuel tanks. It's got a sheet of a Pepsi advert there, repairing the wing. It's great. It's such imagination. So coughing again, sorry. Still doing airframe construction. He's got some jerry cans there, or some German cans should I say, and then adding in some brass on the bottom here for something or other. So he's fitting how to fit the new engines. He's put his brass rod in there, the same as I did on mine, but remember I built my wing up separately. And then he's adding some rivet detail, and then sanding the joint, scribing it, using that tool again that I was showing you just now to do some riveting and getting the airframe built up. And then he's doing an upper gunner turret ring, which is like something off a 6x6 GMC. And then he's doing the base coat. You can see here it's well weathered. Doing some chipping, proper chipping. Doing that drop tank there. And then painting in the logos and everything and the symbols on it. More work there, putting another symbol on the wings. Doing the Pepsi badge. For the scrap piece of signage they've used to repair the wing. And then he's doing some panels here with some rust and some chipping on them. That's a panel on the top of the wing. Then move on. So you could actually do one of these yourself because it's that detailed. He's got everything here. So he's using some pigments to dirty up the base, and then building up the engines. So I don't know. They've come from Aries and are superbly cast. So he's done the cylinders and everything, building up the engines, and then he's got the spinner going on there. Then he's got the machine gun, looks like a 50 cal going on the top. And then we've got tyres. Adding some tyres, they look like treaded tyres from something else. And then we've got the wing tanks, they're 50-gallon drums. And then he's doing a base for it. So we got odds and sods, we've got a rear facing machine gunner there. And we've got a base here. And there's pictures of the finished model, which is very nice indeed. And then we've got some pictures of aircraft there. There's an A6. Not sure, that's a Wessex. And here, the show must go on at the end of the book. And there we go, that's it. And then he's talking about here advertising MIG ammo oil brushers, which you'll see me use on K2. So there we go, that's the review of that book. So highly recommended. Full of some really useful stuff. A lot of stuff on there you've already seen me do on the channel, but there were some few fresh ideas that I hadn't seen before in there. So thoroughly recommended for the newer modeler who wants to get into weathering and stuff. And very good indeed. But just bear in mind, it's a 2017 publication, so it's what, nearly 6 years old now, and a lot has happened. So when he starts talking about, cockpit instrument panels and stuff, back when this was done, I doubt if the 3D printed stuff was around, and it's really what people go to now. I did notice he said in one bit, he said, oh, here we go, in my opinion, pre-printed photo etch panels are hard to beat. In my opinion, in 2007 I'd agreed, but now they just look so sort of two-dimensional, which is why Edward have now moved on to doing the three-dimensional ones. But I personally like kit. If you've got nice decals, the kit plastic instrument panel with the decals put in, like I've done on the Airfix Spitfire, it looks, there's nothing wrong with that at all. It looks absolutely fine. And another issue I have with the Edward instrument panels is when they're painted, like in German or in Russian aircraft, I'm never happy with the colour. So, and you have to match it, that's the problem. You have to match the colour. Whereas if you just use the plastic parts with the decals, you can just paint your cockpit as you go. But there we go. So yeah, lovely book. Lots and lots of really nice techniques and everything. And as I say, there's going to be a few changes in the market. A few other things have come out. But, the basics like your Tamiya paint, and your different thinners, and, ACAM paints, and your MIG ammo paints, and your Mr. Hobby, and it's all still the same. Nothing's changed. So there we go. So that's the book there, Modelling School by Jamie Haggo. I keep calling him Haggo. Jamie Haggo. Jamie Haggo, it is Haggo. I keep calling him Haggo. So there we go. Enjoy that and go get yourself one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.